that, and then, what?
Good afternoon, North Carolina. We are the Center for Death Penalty Litigation and North Carolina Alternatives Against the Death Penalty, standing in front of the governor's mansion, lifting up North Carolina's death row, our criminal justice, which is a part of our criminal justice system. We are all aware, and at least we would hope that many are aware, that our death penalty, our criminal justice system, is rooted in a system that is embedded in white supremacy, and we are here to speak truth to power, and we are here to call on those in power to do the right thing, to do justice for the people of North Carolina. We're going to turn now to Nick, who's going to open up the spoken word piece for us.
How y'all doing, North Carolina? My name is Nick Corman. I'm a poet, spoken word artist from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm currently enrolled at North Carolina Central University in Durham, receiving my master's in African American history. And gonna offer a spoken word piece to open up this afternoon. The title of the piece is called Death Row, and it just speaks to the disparities that are still in our criminal injustice system. I would call it justice, but there is no justice with folks, especially people of color, and our low income folks are being disproportionately impacted by the death penalty. So it's a hard pill to swallow when the promises made to our people were baseless and hollow. When you're guilty before you see trial, you can't commute these sentences because every day is death row. And this country's response to our blackness might not allow us to see tomorrow. They figured that since we've immortalized Tupac, we have an infatuation with death row records. But on the contrary, there's a lot of innocent brothers on death row that have no records, yet no one cares. And although we enjoy cookouts and electric slides, they enjoy watching our bodies fry and cook out while sitting in electric chairs. To America, killing us is a Jan sport, so they send us backpacking before the Lord decides to call us home. And they play with us the way Coltrane played his saxophone and clarinet, which is why when they get their hands on our Rodney Reeds, they feel the need to lethally inject. So I attempt to vehemently protect and spit lines that frequently project truth and honesty, because honestly, I know America always has job openings for death row, and I know they want to hire me, which is where I spot the cruel irony in the Declaration of Independence. Because instead of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, we've been guaranteed death, bondage, and a state of hopelessness. I find it crazy how states like Texas will take a pro-life position and stand in vehement opposition when it comes to abortion, but not a portion of that energy goes towards trying to eradicate the death penalty. My skin makes me the enemy, so that's why I know the death penalty was designed in mind to be the end of me. Most of us wanted to see college, but America gives us the penitentiary, and that's been the American way of life since the turn of the 20th century. South Carolina gave the electric chair to a 14-year-old George Stinney without a fair trial or appeal. And to be real, when Georgia executed an innocent Troy Davis, they didn't conceal how this country feels, since they proved that he was just another nigger that America wanted to kill. Then Alabama traded in its statehood for a white pointed Make America Great hood and determined a black man's fate in a way that only a racist state would, when they executed an innocent man that went by the name of Nate Woods. Because with so much drama in the USA, it's kind of hard when they oppress us each and every day. Because between 1973 and 2016, there were 156 people who were almost executed that ended up being let free. So I ask, who is America to decide who's worthy to live or die when they've perpetrated so many atrocities they could make Satan cry? Welcome to Death Row.
You can have my number, right? Those are some very powerful words that definitely stands true today. I want to read a quote on behalf of the new North Carolina State NAACP President, Deborah Dix Maxwell, who would want to be here with us but could not. She stated, for far too long, tens of thousands, mostly black North Carolinians, have annually suffered in state prisons under racist, criminal, and capital punishment systems designed to chain our hands, silence our voices, and take our lives. It is finally time for North Carolina's leaders to live into their promises that black lives do matter by focusing on people, not policy, not policing, building up our communities, not more cages, and embracing moral imperatives of decarceration that calls us to the state capitol this month. And that is from President of the North Carolina NAACP, Deborah Dix Maxwell. So of course we want to give you all the little facts about our criminal justice, about our death row here in North Carolina. And Elizabeth, I will...
Thanks, Tyler. Did you know that about 30% of North Carolina's population is black and about 60% of our death row is black?
And did you know that nearly half the people who are currently on North Carolina's death row were sentenced by juries that were overwhelmingly white?
And did you know that if a defendant is convicted of killing a white person, they're more than two times likely to get the death sentence?
And did you know that 11 of the 12 people exonerated from death row in North Carolina were black or brown?
Did you also know that more than 2/3 of the 135 people on North Carolina's death row were tried over 20 years ago under entirely different laws?
And did you know that most of North Carolina's, oh, sorry, that's the one Nick just read. Am I on this one? Number 5? Well, number 6 is the one he just read. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm all confused. I'm sorry. This is live. This is live, people. Most of North Carolina's death row were tried in the 1990s, when North Carolina had one of the hugest death sentencing rates in the nation.
And most of the people who are currently on death row were tried before reforms that were designed to prevent false confessions and mistaken eyewitness identifications.
And did you know that most of the guys who are housed on death row were tried before the creation of the Indigent Defense Services, an organization designed to make sure that defendants had the resources and counsel to represent themselves?
Did you know most people currently housed on death row were tried before laws granting those who are excused with the right to see all evidence in the prosecutor's file, including exculpatory evidence?
Also, most people who are currently housed on death row were tried before laws barring the execution of people with intellectual disabilities.
And did you know, when I was in the 10th grade, my brother was executed on death row, and 2 weeks after his execution, a police officer came in my math class and actually talked about executing my brother on death row. And he didn't know that I was in there.
So there are just a little bit of facts that makes up our, I'm not even going to say a criminal justice system because it's not, our immoral system that is strategically targeting black and brown individuals, North Carolinians, who are also poor. So at this moment, we want to take a moment of silence to lift up those who the state has murdered. And I think it's very touching for us to name that every time a North Carolinian has been executed in this state, it is in the name of North Carolinians. It's in our name, my name, and those of us who are gathered here in the state of North Carolina. And so to your point, Nick, we can't take a pro-life stance when we are killing black and brown lives, poor black and brown lives, for decisions, for being adults, for just being born in this country. So let's take a moment and lift up the names of those who have been executed in this state.
You ain't got enough pressure for me to pick.